I counted every day until Olivia came home from her 2-week business trip. I even cleaned the house twice because I wanted everything perfect. When I heard the front door open, I smiled. "Welcome home," I said. She gave me a quick hug. "Thanks. That's it." I laughed. "No dramatic airport story?" "I'm tired, Ethan." "You must be. Sit down. I'll make coffee." "No. I just want a shower." She walked away before I could kiss her again. Something felt wrong, but I pushed the feeling aside. Later that night I asked, "How was Chicago?" "Busy." "What was the best part?" "The meetings. You always tell funny stories." "Not this time." Her answers were short. She kept turning her phone face down whenever it buzzed. The next morning I found a hotel receipt in her coat pocket. "Olivia," I called. "I thought your company booked the Grand Harbor Hotel." "They changed it." "Why didn't you mention that?" "I forgot." I nodded, pretending I believed her. That evening I met Daniel for burgers. "You look miserable," he said. "I'm probably imagining things." "What happened?" "Olivia seems different." He shrugged. "Business trips change people." "You think that's all?" "I don't know. Just don't accuse her without proof." "I won't." When I returned home, Olivia was smiling at her phone. "Who's making you laugh?" I asked. "A coworker." "Can I see?" She locked the screen immediately. "Seriously? It's private. We never hid things before." "I'm allowed to have privacy." Her words stung. Days passed. I noticed another strange thing. "Your flight landed at 6, I said. "Why did you get home after 9? "There was traffic. The airport train was running." She frowned. "Why are you questioning everything?" "I'm trying to understand." "You don't trust me." "I do." The answer sounded weak even to me. I lay awake that night, replaying every conversation. I hated myself for doubting the woman I loved. Maybe work had exhausted her. Maybe I was insecure. Maybe love required patience instead of suspicion. The following weekend, I suggested dinner. "Let's celebrate your successful trip." "I already have plans." "With who?" "Friends from work." "I've never met them." "You don't have to." She grabbed her purse and left. Daniel called later. "You okay?" "I'll survive." "Remember, don't ignore your instincts forever." "I know." After the call, I walked through our quiet house. I noticed an unopened gift I had bought before her trip. It was still sitting on the table with the ribbon untouched. I picked it up, smiled sadly, and placed it back. I wanted the woman who used to laugh with me over burned pancakes and late-night movies. Instead, I felt like I was living beside a stranger wearing my wife's face. The next morning I tried once more. "Can we talk honestly?" "We are talking." "No. We're avoiding each other." She looked away. "I'm under pressure at work." "Then let me help." "I don't need help." "I miss you." She stayed silent. That silence hurt more than an argument ever could. When Olivia returned after midnight the next day, she looked strangely nervous. "I have something important to tell you," she whispered. I smiled, hoping everything would finally make sense. She took my hands, looked into my eyes for the first time since coming home, and said, "Ethan, I'm pregnant." My heart stopped, and joy collided with a fear I could not explain. Olivia's words echoed inside my head. "I'm pregnant." I forced a smile. "Really?" She nodded. "Yes." I hugged her because I didn't know what else to do. "Congratulations," I whispered. She smiled for the first time since coming home. "I knew you'd be happy." "I am." The lie tasted bitter. That night I barely slept. I quietly counted weeks in my head. Our marriage had been distant long before her business trip. We had hardly spent time together. Every calculation left me with the same uncomfortable feeling, but I kept telling myself I had to be wrong. The next morning, Olivia walked into the kitchen. "You've been quiet." "I'm just surprised." "Good surprise?" "I think so." She crossed her arms. "You think so?" "I mean, becoming a father is a big change." She studied my face. "You don't look excited." "I'm trying to take it all in." "You should smile more." "I will." Instead, I poured another cup of coffee just to keep my hands busy. A few hours later, my phone rang. "Ethan," my mother shouted. "Olivia told us." "You know already? We're finally going to be grandparents." My father laughed in the background. "When are you two coming over?" "We'll be there tonight." Grace had already cooked my favorite dinner. She hugged me tightly the moment I walked inside. My son is going to be a father. I hope I'll be a good one. You will, she said. Olivia smiled at everyone around the table. Grace asked, have you picked baby names? Olivia laughed. Not yet. Noah raised his glass. To new beginnings. Everyone cheered. I lifted my glass, but my thoughts stayed trapped inside my head. I counted months again, then weeks, then days. Nothing felt right. After dinner, Olivia stepped outside to answer a phone call. My mother leaned closer. Is everything okay? Why wouldn't it be? You seem distracted. I'm tired. She gently squeezed my hand. Don't work too hard. I won't. When we drove home, I finally spoke. Can I ask you something? Olivia sighed. What now? When did you first find out? About the pregnancy? Yes. A few days ago. Are you sure? She looked at me sharply. What does that mean? I'm only trying to understand the timeline. The timeline is exactly what I told you. I wasn't accusing you. It sounds like you are. I just want us to be honest. We are honest. I took a slow breath. I love you. If you loved me, you wouldn't question me. I asked one question. You don't trust me? I do. Then stop acting like a detective. She turned toward the window and refused to say another word. The silence followed us home. Later that night, I stood alone in the living room. I opened the calendar on my phone and counted everything again. I even checked old photos, work schedules, and text messages. Every answer created another question. I hated myself for doubting Olivia, yet I couldn't silence the fear growing inside me. The next morning, she noticed me staring at the calendar. What are you looking at? Nothing. You've changed. I could say the same thing. She grabbed her purse. I don't have time for this. The front door slammed behind her. I remained standing there, wondering whether I was becoming paranoid or finally paying attention. That evening, my parents stopped by unexpectedly with baby clothes and a small stuffed bear. Grace smiled. I couldn't resist. They're beautiful, I said quietly. Noah watched me for a long moment before speaking. You've hardly smiled all day. I'm thinking. About the baby? About everything. He rested his hand on my shoulder. Son, remember one thing. What? He looked straight into my eyes. The truth never fears questions. Months passed, but the distance between Olivia and me never disappeared. We spoke about doctor appointments, baby clothes, and nursery colors, yet every conversation felt rehearsed. I kept smiling because I wanted our family to work. Deep inside, I was still counting dates I wished I could forget. One rainy morning, Olivia grabbed my arm. It's time. I looked at her swollen belly. Are you sure? She forced a laugh. Our son isn't waiting anymore. I rushed her to the hospital. Hours felt like years. Finally, a nurse stepped outside. Congratulations, she said. You have a healthy baby boy. I walked into the room with shaking hands. Olivia smiled weakly. Meet your son. I looked down at the tiny face wrapped in a blue blanket. My heart melted immediately. He's beautiful. Hold him. I'm afraid. You won't hurt him. I carefully lifted the baby into my arms. He yawned, stretched his tiny fingers, and quietly opened his eyes. Hello, little guy. I whispered. I've been waiting for you. For one beautiful moment, every doubt disappeared. I wanted to believe he was mine. I wanted my family back more than anything. The next afternoon, a pediatric nurse entered the room carrying a clipboard. Good morning, she said warmly. I'm Sophia. I need to ask a few medical questions. Of course, I replied. She smiled. Any inherited heart conditions in your family? My grandfather had one. She wrote something down. What about blood disorders? I answered every question carefully. Then she looked at Olivia. And your family? Olivia listed several medical conditions. Sophia nodded. Sometimes family history becomes important if unexpected health issues appear. I asked, what happens if doctors aren't sure about inherited conditions? There are different tests, Sophia explained. Sometimes parents choose DNA testing to help confirm family medical information. The room became silent. Olivia frowned. That won't be necessary. Sophia smiled politely. I wasn't suggesting anything specific. I was only explaining the options. After she left, Olivia stared at me. Don't even think about it. I wasn't. You looked interested. I only listened. You should trust me. I do. She turned away without another word. 2 weeks later, we brought the baby home. Friends visited with gifts. My parents couldn't stop smiling. Grace kissed the baby's forehead. He's perfect. Noah laughed. He already has your serious expression. I smiled because I wanted to believe him. Late one evening, the baby finally fell asleep. I quietly said, "Can we talk?" Olivia sighed. About what? The hospital conversation. Her eyes narrowed. I knew it. I only have questions. No, you have accusations. I never accused you. You keep bringing up timing. I'm trying to silence my doubts. If you loved me, you wouldn't have doubts. I love you enough to want the truth. She stood up. I'm done having this conversation. She slammed the bedroom door. I remained alone in the living room, listening to my son's soft breathing through the baby monitor. The next morning, I called the hospital. Sophia answered. Hello, this is Sophia. It's Ethan Carter. I remember you. Is everything okay? I need information about DNA testing. She paused. I can explain the process, but the decision is yours. I understand. She calmly described how the testing worked and where it could be arranged. 3 days later, I secretly submitted the samples. Now all I could do was wait. Every sunrise felt heavier than the last. Every smile from Olivia made me wonder whether I was destroying my own marriage with suspicion. Every laugh from the baby filled me with love and fear at the same time. Then, one quiet afternoon, my phone began to ring. The laboratory was calling. My hands trembled as I answered the phone. Mr. Carter? A calm voice asked. Yes, your laboratory results are ready. You can view them through the secure portal. Can you tell me now? I'm sorry. The full report must be accessed privately. I understand. The call ended. I stared at my phone for several minutes before opening the report. My heartbeat echoed inside my ears. I entered my password twice because my fingers would not stop shaking. The report finally appeared. One sentence stole the air from my lungs. Probability of paternity, 0%. I blinked. No. I read it again. Then again. Then again. My eyes searched for another explanation, another page, another answer. Nothing changed. The child I had rocked to sleep. The child I had promised to protect. He was not biologically mine. Everything around me became silent. Even the ticking clock disappeared beneath the weight of those words. I whispered, "This can't be real." I refreshed the page. The report remained exactly the same. I printed it. I read every line. I checked my name. I checked the laboratory logo. I checked the sample numbers. Nothing was wrong except my entire life. The front door opened. Olivia walked inside, carrying grocery bags. "Hey," she said, "can you help me?" I quickly folded the report and slipped it into my desk drawer. "Sure." She smiled. "The baby was good today." "I'm glad." She looked at me carefully. "Are you feeling okay?" "I'm just tired. You've been working too much." "Probably." I carried the groceries into the kitchen while pretending nothing had happened. That evening, I fed the baby his bottle. He looked at me with innocent eyes. "I'm here," I whispered. None of this was his fault. The next morning, I called Daniel. "Can we meet?" "Of course." An hour later, we sat inside our usual diner. He studied my face. "You look terrible." I got the DNA results. His expression changed immediately. "What did they say?" I slid the folded report across the table. He read it silently. Then he looked back at me. "I'm sorry. I don't even know what I'm feeling. You don't have to figure it out today. I want answers." "I know. I want to confront Olivia." Daniel shook his head. "Not yet." "Why?" "If you confront her now, she'll destroy evidence." "What evidence?" "Messages. Financial records. Hotel bookings. Anything. I never imagined my marriage would become an investigation. You need facts before emotions." I rubbed my forehead. I loved her. "I know. I trusted every word she said." "I know. I held that baby believing he was my son." Daniel remained quiet for several seconds. Finally, he spoke. "Ethan, betrayal hurts more than anger because it attacks every memory you believed was real. His words settled deep inside me. He was right. I wasn't furious. I was broken. When I returned home, Olivia smiled. "You're home early. I finished work. Can you hold the baby while I cook?" "Of course." I carried him through the living room, forcing myself to smile whenever Olivia looked at me. Inside, I felt completely empty. Late that night, after everyone was asleep, I searched online for licensed private investigators. One name appeared repeatedly: Victor Hayes. The reviews described him with one word: relentless. I stared at the phone number for several minutes before dialing. A deep voice answered. "Victor Hayes. My name is Ethan Carter. How can I help you?" "I think my wife has been living a second life." There was a brief silence. Then he replied, "Meet me tomorrow morning. I'll be there." I ended the call and quietly deleted it from my phone. For the first time since reading the DNA report, I stopped searching for impossible explanations. Instead, I started searching for the truth. I arrived at Victor Hayes' office carrying only one folder. He looked at me. "You brought the DNA report." I did. He read it without speaking. Finally, he closed the folder. "What do you want from me?" "I want the truth." "The truth is expensive." "I'll pay." He nodded. "Then don't interfere while I investigate." "I won't." "When did your wife leave for her business trip?" I gave him every detail I remembered. He wrote several notes. "I'll contact you soon." 3 days later, my phone rang. "This is Victor. Did you find something?" "Meet me." I hurried to his office. He placed several photographs on the desk. "Your wife never stayed at the hotel her company booked." I stared at the pictures. "Where did she stay?" "At the Lakeside Grand Hotel." He slid another document toward me. "These are the hotel records." My hands shook. "She checked in alone?" Victor looked directly at me. "No." He handed me another page. One name appeared beside Olivia's. Mason Reed. "Who's Mason?" "Regional director at her company." I closed my eyes. "Keep going." Victor opened another folder. "These are hidden credit card payments." I studied the statements. "They paid for expensive dinners." "Yes." "And jewelry." "Yes." My credit card never showed these charges. "They came from another account." I swallowed hard. "What else?" Victor connected his laptop. I recovered deleted messages. The screen filled with conversations. One message froze my heart. "I can't wait until we're finally together." Another message followed. "Ethan still believes every word I tell him." I couldn't breathe. Victor quietly closed the laptop. "I'm sorry." I shook my head. "No. Show me everything." He played security footage from the hotel lobby. Olivia walked inside smiling. A tall man hugged her. They kissed. I looked away. "I've seen enough." "No," Victor said gently. "You haven't." He handed me another envelope. Inside were photographs from restaurants, parks, and airports. Every picture showed Olivia with Mason. Not once did she look guilty. She looked happy. I drove home without turning on the radio. Every memory from the past year suddenly made sense. The canceled anniversary dinner, the late meetings, the hidden phone, the unexpected business trips, the excuses, the distance, the arguments. None of it had been random. Every lie had started long before I noticed. That evening, Olivia smiled as I entered the house. "You're home early. I missed you." She laughed softly. "That's sweet." I forced myself to smile back. "How was work?" "Busy." "Anything interesting happen?" "Nothing at all." She lied without hesitation. I realized I was living with someone I no longer recognized. After she went upstairs, I locked myself inside my office. I placed every document inside a large binder. DNA report, hotel records, credit card statements, deleted messages, security photographs. Every page carried another piece of the truth. Instead of screaming, I organized everything carefully. Anger would solve nothing. Evidence would. The next afternoon, Victor called again. "I found something else." "What is it?" "You need to see this in person." I met him immediately. He handed me copies of several emails. They were recovered legally. I read them slowly. One message came from Mason. "The apartment lease starts next month." Another read. "Once the divorce is finished, we'll finally have our own place." I looked at Victor. "What divorce?" He pointed to another page. There it was. Olivia had already spoken with a financial advisor. She planned to claim half of my savings, half of my retirement account, and half of our house before moving into Mason's apartment. I lowered the papers. So, while I was trying to save my marriage, Victor finished the sentence quietly. She was planning her future without you. I folded every document, placed them back into the binder, and walked toward the door. For the first time since this nightmare began, my tears stopped. Only determination remained. The morning after my meeting with Victor, I woke before Olivia. I looked at the ceiling and made myself one promise. I won't lose control. When Olivia came downstairs, she smiled. "Good morning." "Morning. I made your favorite pancakes. They smell great." She kissed my cheek. "I've missed us." I forced a smile. "So have I." The lie sounded smooth now. Knowing the truth made pretending strangely easier. She packed the baby's diaper bag. "I'll take him to my mother's house this afternoon." "That's fine. You don't mind?" "Not at all." She looked relieved. As soon as she left, I grabbed my binder and drove across town. The sign outside the office read Emma Brooks, family law attorney. A woman greeted me with a calm smile. "You must be Ethan." "I am." "I'm Emma." We shook hands. "Please sit." I placed the binder on her desk. "I think my marriage is over." She opened the first folder. "This is organized." I wanted facts, not guesses. She spent several minutes reading every document. Finally, she looked up. "You've done the right thing by waiting." It didn't feel right. It rarely does. "What happens now?" "We protect you." "How?" "We secure your finances, prepare divorce papers, and preserve every piece of evidence." "I don't want revenge." "I know. I just don't want to lose everything." "You won't if we move carefully." She slid several forms toward me. "I'll need your signature." I signed each page. Emma continued. "Until the papers are filed, don't confront Olivia." "I can do that." "Don't discuss money." "I won't." "Don't reveal what you know." "I understand." She closed the binder. Silence can be powerful. I nodded slowly. I've started learning that. During the following week, I quietly followed every instruction. I opened a separate bank account. I copied financial records. I backed up emails. I photographed important documents. Each small step made me feel stronger. At home, Olivia acted like nothing had changed. "Ethan," she called one evening. "Can you taste the soup?" I smiled. "It's good." "Needs more salt." "Maybe a little." She laughed. "You're impossible." I almost forgot she had spent months lying to me. Almost. Later that night, she sat beside me on the couch. "We should take a vacation." "That sounds nice." "Maybe after things settle down." "I'd like that." Inside, I knew there would never be another trip together. The next afternoon, Emma called. "I've finished the first draft." "Already?" "Yes." "Can I review it?" "Come by tomorrow." When I arrived, she handed me neatly prepared documents. "Everything is ready." I flipped through the pages. "This feels final." "It is." I took a deep breath. I never imagined signing divorce papers. Few people do. I still can't believe she planned another life. Emma spoke gently. "Sometimes accepting reality hurts less than fighting it." I quietly signed the final page. She placed everything into a secure folder. Now we wait. For what? For the right moment. Driving home, I realized something had changed inside me. I wasn't waking up terrified anymore. I wasn't searching calendars. I wasn't begging Olivia for honesty. I already had the truth. That evening, Olivia greeted me with another bright smile. "I made reservations for dinner tomorrow." "Really? I thought we deserved a date night." "I'd love that." She reached for my hand. "I'm glad we're doing better." I looked into her eyes. She believed every lie she told. She believed every smile I returned. She believed I knew nothing. For the first time since the DNA report shattered my world, I no longer felt trapped. I had evidence. I had legal protection. I had patience. Most importantly, I had stopped reacting to her performance. My silence had become my weapon, and with every passing day, the balance of power quietly moved from her hands into mine. The morning of the hearing arrived faster than I expected. Emma adjusted the files in her briefcase. "Are you ready?" "I don't think anyone is ever ready for this. You only need to tell the truth." I can do that. We walked into the courthouse together. Olivia was already there. She smiled as if we were attending a business meeting instead of ending a marriage. Good morning, Ethan. Morning. She glanced at Emma. So, you finally hired a lawyer. I did. Olivia shrugged. This won't take long. I looked at her quietly. No, it won't. A few minutes later, we entered the courtroom. The clerk called our case. Judge Rebecca Collins looked over the file. Please be seated. Everyone sat. The judge spoke calmly. We are here regarding the Carter divorce petition. Counsel, you may begin. Emma stood. Your Honor, my client requests that the court review evidence before discussing any settlement. Olivia's attorney frowned. We expected straightforward negotiations. Emma replied, the evidence changes everything. Judge Collins nodded. Proceed. Emma handed the first document to the clerk. This is a certified DNA report. The judge reviewed it silently. She looked toward Olivia. Mrs. Carter, according to this report, the child is not Mr. Carter's biological son. Olivia's face lost its color. She whispered, Ethan, I said nothing. Emma continued. We also submit certified laboratory verification. The judge accepted the documents. Olivia's attorney shifted uncomfortably. Emma opened another folder. Next, hotel records from the business trip. Photographs appeared on the courtroom screen. Judge Collins examined them carefully. The records show Mrs. Carter sharing accommodations with Mason Reed. Olivia quickly stood. That isn't what it looks like. Judge Collins raised her hand. Sit down, Mrs. Carter. She obeyed. Emma continued. We also submit surveillance photographs. The images showed Olivia kissing Mason inside the hotel lobby. The courtroom became silent. Emma reached for another folder. Financial records. Bank statements appeared. Hidden credit card payments. Luxury dinners. Jewelry purchases. Weekend vacations. None of them had been disclosed. Judge Collins looked toward Olivia again. Do you dispute these transactions? Olivia stared at the table. No. Emma spoke again. Finally, phone records and recovered messages. The courtroom screen displayed text conversations. One message read, Ethan still believes me. Another appeared. We'll move into the apartment after the divorce. I watched Olivia close her eyes. Her plan was no longer a secret. Judge Collins folded her hands. Where is Mr. Mason Reed today? The courtroom doors opened. Mason entered wearing a dark suit. He looked confident until Emma handed another folder to his attorney. His lawyer read it quickly. Then he whispered something into Mason's ear. Mason's expression changed immediately. Judge Collins asked, Mr. Reed, are you prepared to testify? He cleared his throat. On legal advice, I declined to answer questions. Olivia looked shocked. Mason. He refused to meet her eyes. She whispered desperately, Please say something. He remained silent. Emma quietly explained, Mr. Reed's employer has already begun an internal investigation concerning company policy violations. Mason slowly lowered his head. He understood exactly what was at risk. His career, his reputation, his future. For the first time since our marriage began falling apart, Olivia looked frightened. She turned toward me. Ethan, please. I answered calmly. I begged for honesty long before today. Tears filled her eyes. I never wanted this. I spoke softly. You planned every part of it. She couldn't deny it. Judge Collins reviewed every document again. Several long minutes passed. Finally, she looked up. The volume of evidence presented today is substantial. The courtroom remained silent. She continued, This court requires additional time to examine every document before issuing a final ruling. She struck the gavel once. This matter is postponed pending full review of the evidence. As everyone slowly stood, Olivia remained frozen in her chair. The confident woman who entered expecting an easy settlement had disappeared. For the first time, she understood that every lie she had carefully built was collapsing under the weight of the truth, and there was nothing left she could do to stop it. A week after the courtroom hearing, Emma called me. I have an update. What happened? Mason Reed has been terminated. I sat quietly. Are you sure? His company completed its investigation. What was the reason? misuse of company resources, policy violations, and misconduct involving a subordinate. I closed my eyes. I never wanted anyone to lose a career. I know, Emma replied. But those were the company's decisions, not yours. After the call ended, I realized something surprising. I didn't feel victorious. I only felt tired. Later that afternoon, Daniel met me for coffee. So, he asked, did you hear? I did. What are you thinking? I expected revenge to feel different. He smiled gently. Maybe that's because you're healing instead. I hope so. Daniel leaned back. What about Olivia? I haven't heard from her. As if my words had invited fate, my phone rang. Olivia. I answered. Hello. Ethan, can we talk? What is there to say? Please. I hesitated. One conversation. Thank you. We met at a quiet park the following morning. She looked exhausted. Dark circles surrounded her eyes. She sat across from me. I lost almost everyone. I remained silent. My coworkers stopped calling. She swallowed hard. My friends don't answer my messages. I listened. My own relatives keep asking questions I can't answer. I folded my hands. What do you want from me? She looked down. Forgiveness. For what? I made one mistake. I stared at her. One mistake. She nodded weakly. I wasn't thinking clearly. I took a slow breath. No, Olivia. She looked confused. Betrayal isn't one mistake. Tears rolled down her face. It happened once. I shook my head. No, it did. No. I spoke calmly. The affair wasn't one decision. She stayed silent. It was the first lie. I continued. Then another lie. And another. You lied when you kissed him. You lied when you came home. You lied about the hotel. You lied about your phone. You lied about the pregnancy. You lied while I held that baby. You lied while my parents celebrated. You lied while planning to take my savings. I looked into her eyes. That wasn't one mistake. It was hundreds of choices. She covered her face. I'm sorry. I believe you. Her head lifted. You do? Yes. Then why can't we fix this? Because being sorry doesn't erase what happened. She reached toward me. I still love you. I quietly moved my hand away. The woman I loved disappeared long before the courtroom. She began crying harder. I don't know how to start over. You'll find a way. What about us? There is no us. She whispered. I never imagined everything would fall apart. I answered honestly. Neither did I. We sat in silence for several moments. Finally she asked, do you hate me? I thought carefully before answering. No, you don't. I don't have the energy to hate you anymore. She lowered her eyes. I deserve that. I slowly stood. I should go. She looked up one last time. Ethan. Yes. I truly am sorry. I nodded. I hope those words help you become someone better. They won't bring you back. No. I turned and walked away. For the first time since this nightmare began, I never looked behind me. As I reached my car, my phone buzzed with another news alert about Mason's dismissal and growing public criticism surrounding the affair. I quietly locked my screen without opening the article. Their lives were collapsing under the weight of their own choices. I didn't need to celebrate. I didn't need to punish them. Life had already done both. Driving home, I realized something that finally brought me peace. Real revenge had never been winning against Olivia. It had been refusing to let her betrayal define the rest of my life. Karma had never shouted. It had simply arrived, and I no longer needed to wait for it. The final court hearing lasted less than 30 minutes. Judge Collins reviewed the last documents before looking at me. Mr. Carter, do you have anything to add? I stood. No, Your Honor. She turned toward Olivia. Mrs. Carter? Olivia slowly shook her head. No. Judge Collins folded the papers. Based on the evidence presented, this court grants the divorce effective immediately. She struck the gavel. This case is concluded. I quietly thanked Emma outside the courtroom. It's finally over. She smiled warmly. Now your real life can begin. I hope you're right. You've survived the hardest part. We shook hands before going our separate ways. For the first time in months, I drove home without feeling like I was carrying a mountain on my shoulders. The house felt different. Not empty. Peaceful. Months passed. I focused on work, spent weekends with my parents, and slowly rebuilt the routines I had abandoned. One Saturday, Noah looked at me. "You've been staying home too much." "I enjoy the quiet. Quiet is healthy." He smiled. "But purpose is better." Grace nodded. "There's a children's charity downtown looking for volunteers." I hesitated. "I don't know if I'm ready." "You don't have to be perfect," she said. "You only have to show up." The following weekend, I walked into the charity center. Children laughed in every direction. A volunteer greeted me. "You must be Ethan." "I am." "We're happy you're here." I spent the morning reading stories, building toy blocks, and helping serve lunch. For the first time in a long while, I laughed without forcing it. As I carried a box of books through the hallway, I heard a familiar voice. "Ethan?" I turned around. "Sophia?" She smiled. "I didn't expect to see you here." "I volunteer twice a month," she said. "I had no idea." She laughed softly. "I remember meeting you at the hospital." "So do I." "I'm glad you're doing better." "I think I finally am." We spent the afternoon organizing supplies together. She asked, "How have you been?" "I've had difficult months." "I'm sorry." "Thank you." She didn't ask for details. She simply waited. The silence felt comforting instead of uncomfortable. After we finished, we sat outside with 2 cups of coffee. Sophia smiled. "So, what made you volunteer?" "I wanted my life to mean something again." "I understand." "What about you?" "I like reminding children that someone cares." I nodded. "They're lucky to have you." She laughed. "I could say the same about you." I looked at her. "You never asked what I do for work." She seemed confused. "Should I?" "Most people do." She shrugged. "I wanted to know who you are." "Not what I earn." "No." "Not where I live." She smiled. "No." "What about my past?" "When you're ready, you'll tell me." I stared into my coffee. "That's different." "Is that good or bad?" "It's peaceful." She smiled again. "I'm glad." As the sun began to set, we walked toward the parking lot. She stopped beside her car. "I've enjoyed talking with you." "I enjoyed it too." "We'll probably see each other here next weekend." "I hope so." She waved goodbye. Driving home, I noticed something unexpected. I hadn't questioned every word she said. I hadn't searched for hidden meanings. I hadn't imagined lies behind every smile. I had simply enjoyed an honest conversation. That night my father called. How was volunteering? It changed something inside me. What changed? I stopped looking backward. He laughed quietly. "I've been waiting to hear that." "So have I." After the call ended, I stood beside my living room window. The pain hadn't disappeared completely. Some memories probably never would, but they no longer controlled my future. For the first time in years, my heart felt calm instead of suspicious. I wasn't replacing my past. I was building something healthier. Slowly, carefully, and one honest conversation at a time, I found the courage to trust again, beginning with myself and extending toward the quiet hope waiting just beyond tomorrow. A year passed faster than I expected. My mornings no longer began with fear. They began with purpose. Work became enjoyable again. I earned a promotion, led new projects, and finally believed in my own future. My evenings belonged to family, friends, and the children's charity. Life felt honest again. One Sunday afternoon, my parents invited me for lunch. Grace smiled as she placed another serving on my plate. "You've been smiling more." "I've noticed that too." Noah laughed. "It suits you." "I finally feel like myself again." He raised his glass. "That's worth celebrating." After lunch, we sat on the porch together. My mother looked at me. "I'm proud of you." "For surviving?" "For choosing kindness when bitterness would have been easier." I smiled. "I almost chose anger." "But you didn't." "No." A few days later, I finished a meeting downtown and walked toward my car. As I passed the family courthouse, I noticed someone sitting alone on a bench. Olivia. She looked smaller somehow. Her confident posture had disappeared. She slowly stood when she saw me. "Ethan." I stopped. "Hello. Do you have a minute?" "I do." We stood in silence before she finally spoke. "I've wanted to apologize for a long time." I nodded. "I'm listening." She took a deep breath. "I destroyed everything." Neither of us spoke. She continued. "I blamed everyone except myself." I remained quiet. I told myself I deserved better. She wiped away a tear. But I threw away the best person in my life. I looked at the courthouse behind her. Why are you here? I had another hearing. I didn't ask for details. She looked at me again. I'm sorry. I know. No. She shook her head. I mean it this time. I believe you. She looked surprised. You do? Yes. Then can you forgive me? I thought carefully before answering. I already have. Her eyes filled with tears. You have? I forgave you a long time ago. Why? Because carrying hatred only kept me connected to the worst chapter of my life. She covered her mouth. I don't deserve that. Maybe not. Then why? Because forgiveness was never a gift for you. She frowned. It was freedom for me. She cried quietly. I wish I had understood that sooner. So do I. She looked down. I still think about the family we could have had. I answered gently. So do I. Another long silence settled between us. Finally she whispered, I hope you're happy. I am. Are you with someone? I smiled softly. I'm building a good life. She nodded. That's enough. I offered a small smile. I hope you find peace too. She looked at me one final time. Goodbye, Ethan. Goodbye, Olivia. I turned and continued walking. Halfway across the parking lot, I realized something important. I hadn't looked back. The DNA test had exposed the greatest lie of my life. It had shattered my marriage. It had broken my heart. It had forced me to question everything I believed. Yet it had also given me something priceless. The truth. Without it, I might have spent years trapped inside a beautiful lie. Instead, I rebuilt my life with honesty, dignity, and people who truly cared about me. I learned that self-respect is stronger than revenge. I learned that trust begins with trusting myself. Most importantly, I learned that no betrayal has the power to destroy a person who refuses to surrender hope. I unlocked my car, looked toward the open road ahead, and smiled. For the first time in many years, my future felt brighter than my past, and I drove forward without carrying yesterday beside me anymore.